Welcome and hello, everybody. Today is one of 3 webinar sessions on Jin Shin Jyutsu with Collen Bollen, if you don't already know her. My name is Jana Mastro-Giovanni. I'm a program manager with Cancer Pathways. I was going to start just by providing a brief background. I know Collen's going to share a whole lot more. Just a little bit about today's session. Jin Shin Jyutsu is an ancient Japanese healing art that uses gentle touch to harmonize the body physically, mentally, and emotionally. Our presenter, Collen, is a Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner with over 20 years of experience, as well as a Reiki master and author. And I think that is it on my end. So I'm going to turn it over to Collen. And thank you all for joining us today.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I would like to start with just a brief quiet time just for centering. I know that we're not all running around and going through traffic anymore, but we've still all had different mornings and we're probably different times during our day. And so if we can just, if you can put your hands together, either in this position or in this position, and then take a few breaths. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, the beginning breath is the exhale. And we imagine that exhale going down the front, kind of like a waterfall, an airfall, if you will. And then the inhale comes up the back. So you have kind of a circle of air. And by having your hands together, by having your palms together, you're actually bringing together all of the different, there's 144,000 energy functions within the body. And by having your hands together, you're bringing all of that together and you're helping to open up the flow of energy within your body. So if we can just take a couple of breaths this way, the exhale going down the front and the inhale coming up the back. And just kind of centering and joining this Zoom space where we are. So, welcome everybody, and it's so good to see you. Okay, I'll start with the formal part. Jin Shin Jyutsu is an energy medicine, and it is not a substitute for going to see your doctor for medical treatment. It does work very well in conjunction with other treatments. And sometimes when people are undergoing cancer, they're not allowed to get massage because it's counter-indicated, but they can still receive Jin Shin Jyutsu treatments. And so it can still give that relaxation and treatments that people, would have wanted from massage. They can now get it through the Jin Shin Jyutsu. So Jiro Marahi, he was living in Japan. He was born there and he was from a family of doctors. But because he wasn't the firstborn, he didn't have to become a doctor. So he actually, one of his things was to be a competitive eater. And that didn't go very well. And he ended up getting very ill. And nobody in his family could cure him. And they thought that he was actually going to pass away. And so he asked that he be taken to the family mountain cabin and left for 7 days. And then he asked the family to come back after that time. And it wasn't known if he would survive those 7 days or not. But during that period that he was in the mountain, he fasted and he did a lot of mudras, which are kind of like hand yoga. You see statues, the prayer statue and different things. And he found himself going through cold periods and hot periods. And eventually he passed out. And when he woke up, he was healed. And he spent the rest of his life figuring out how that had happened. And he studied all of the different traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture. Jin Shin Jyutsu has numerology, astrology. It takes pieces from the Bible, the Kabbalah. It integrates all of the world's wisdom into this one art. And it's called Jin Shin Jyutsu, which actually means the art of creator through the person of knowing and compassion. And they call this an art because the way Jiro Marahi designed it is any person can take different parts of Jin Shin Jyutsu and work on the same problem. So if you told somebody you had a headache, one Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner might say, oh, hold your head. And somebody else might say, oh, hold your toes. And both of those systems will work. It's just the way that particular practitioner is addressing that issue. And one of the aspects of Jin Shin Jyutsu is as above, so below. So oftentimes when there is an issue in the feet, you might want to treat the head because there's that flow of energy I was telling you about that goes over the head, down the front, up the back, over the head. And if something is stuck in the head, the toes might be what's hurting. And, and sometimes if they're stuck in the head, you might need to release something down in the feet to get that energy flowing. So that's part of what Jiro Marahi figured out in his studies. And after many years of studies and many clinics and research, he started teaching Jin Shin Jyutsu. And Mary Burmeister was in Japan doing interpretation during World War II. And he invited her to come to his class. And she and her father actually went. And he came up to her and said, would you be willing to take a gift back to the US for me? And she innocently said yes. And it turned out to be Jin Shin Jyutsu. And she ended up working with him while she was in Japan. And then when she came home, they exchanged letters. And she actually worked on the system, figuring out how to bring it to America, to our mindset. And for probably about 20 years before she ever brought it out to the community. And then she started teaching classes, and there's now a headquarters in Scottsdale. And there are teachers around the world who in other times traveled around the world and gave classes in a number of different countries. Now, all of it is on Zoom, which has its benefits because we can go to any class, no matter where it is. Oh, okay. So that's a little bit of the history. And now I'll go into the book. There's been a lot of research studies about Jin Shin Jyutsu. In some ways, it's a folk art. It's something that people have done for centuries, and you have probably done it. As I'm talking about different aspects of it, I'll bring up how we just naturally use it. Like when people put their hands on their hips, they're really, helping to empower themselves through Jin Shin Jyutsu points. And when people cross their arms like this point and here helps bring a person into responsibility and leadership. When little kids, put their hands on their cheeks, These points help with absorbing information, processing information, and it also helps with the stomach. So it helps with all kinds of processing. So one of the things about Jin Shin Jyutsu is it can be very simple. Hold your thumb. And it can be incredibly complex, and you can choose which level you want to work with. So in research with cancer patients, they found that it helps a lot with stress, which is what a lot of people were asking for here. People tend to need less medication for pain relief if they're having Jin Shin Jyutsu treatments. It also can help with the nausea. I've had clients who they said that it's helped them with the radiation and the chemotherapy, that their side effects were not as severe as what they were expecting or their doctors were expecting. And one of the things that I really love about this self-help aspect is that each of us have tools that we can use for ourselves. So we are empowering ourselves. We are part of the healing process. And we're not just having things done to us, but we are also able to help, if we have issues. And I just find it to be incredibly empowering for me. There are 26 safety energy logs in Jin Shin Jyutsu. And the way we think of it is, one, it's kind of like in acupuncture, where people work on the meridians, which are kind of like, you could think of them as like little rivers of energy through our body. And there are different points along that river. And if you think of it as kind of like a hose or something, if a hose gets crimped, the energy is still going through, but it's not going as well as you might want it to. And so in Jin Shin Jyutsu, if a safety energy log gets blocked, that would be like the crimping of a hose. And so by holding these different points, we can release that. And in Jin Shin, and what you'll be doing for some of the self-help is you're holding two different places. And so you put your hands on the two safety energy locks. And when you do that, you might not feel anything, or you might feel they're pulsing at a different rate. And you just hold them here until they pulse at the same rate. And then you know that that line of energy has opened. When you're holding the point, you have a 3-inch bullseye that you could call it the forgiveness bullseye. So if the point is up here, but that's uncomfortable to lift your arm up, you can be down here. And that will still help that area because you're in the 3-inch bullseye. The other thing is there are always workarounds. So if something is not comfortable, it's not going to work, because what we're trying to do is release the flow of energy. And so if I'm in a position where I'm like cramping myself, then that's not going to flow. And so always there are workarounds. So if I ever show you something and it doesn't work for you, let me know, and I can show you the alternative, because it's very important that you be comfortable when you're doing this. The idea is not to add discomfort, it's to ease things. So always there's a workaround. Generally, we would hold a point for like this, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Some people don't feel the pulsing. There are practitioners who don't feel the pulsing. It's not necessary to feel the pulsing. And so you can just go by the clock and hold it for a specific amount of time. This is one of the pages from your book, if you could pull that up. Okay. Then for today, I will just go through and show you the points. This is Bear, and Bear is going to be our model today because I have to show you from the head to the feet. And if I was in class, I could do that really easily, but I don't know how to do it on Zoom without jumping up and down. So this will be our guy. And so the first, what we call safety energy lock, number one, I'm going to put little dots on him, is on the inside of the knee. So right here, safety energy lock one. And that is called the prime mover. It takes us into the new. It rejuvenates all of the points, unlocks all of the physical depths, which means going from the bone out to the skin. It pulls waist up tensions down. It helps to clear the abdomen and the digestive organs. So if you were only to put your hand on that one spot, that would help. I think of it as like one of those old hand pumps that got the water going. That's kind of what this point is like. So it's right at the inside of the knee. And also I have a website called Flowing Stillness, and I have this map there, and I have written out where the points are, because I know some people are visual and they can just look at the picture and they can understand, and some people it's easier if there are words. So like so I say at the inside of the knee joint. So if you're better with words than with pictures, Flowing Stillness, all one word, .net, you'll find under self-help. I put it up there in case people needed that. Okay. The second point is kind of right above the, so if this is your sits bone, it's kind of right above that. And this is called 2, Safety Energy Lock 2. And it provides the life force, energy of creation, procreation, regeneration, releases tension in the lower back, the upper back, again, the abdomen, hips, and legs. We actually call this the chiropractic hold. So again, and oftentimes you'll see people who work in restaurants or places where they're standing a lot, they're kind of have their hand there sometimes when they have a free moment, and they're actually helping to release their hips. Because like I said, a lot of this knowledge, we know it, but we don't know that we know it. Point 3 is, so if I would put my hand over my shoulder, like a coat hanger, that's where I would be at 3. 3 really helps with the immune system. And 3, we call it the doorway. It brings in understanding, the ability to express our feelings by combining our intellect and wisdom, supports the immune system, speech, the nervous system, shoulders, arms, lungs, and circulation. So, okay. And I think anything to do with immune system during this time we're going through is extra good thing for us. 4 is right. If you went down your skull and right where it dips in, that's 4. And 4 we call the window. It's our universal intelligence, which monitors and regulates human functions. It can relieve stress quite a bit. It helps with the head, eyes, ears, heart, legs, knees, neck, mouth, throat, and nervous system. So sometimes you can tell from the location what it's going to help with. This is a good point for if you have headaches. And sometimes if you just, after you learn what these points are, if you just kind of touch them and they hurt, then it's a good idea to just hold it for a moment. And in Jin Shin, we don't hold hard. It's just a real soft touch because you want the energy to be able to move through. And if you're pushing too hard, then nothing's going to be able to get through. And we don't want to cause any pain in ourselves or anybody else. I see somebody with a kitty. You can do it on your animals also. Okay. 5 is down at the feet. And so this guy, this is his toe, bear's toe, and it's right on the inside, right, right at the bottom of the ankle bone. Okay. And that helps to move beyond fear. It helps with tension in the back, in the head, the chest, the hips, helps with the kidneys and reproductive issues. 6 is right in the arch. So if you go from, so that's 5, and here is 6, right in the arch. And 6, as you can imagine, it has to do with balance. It has to do with harmony and inner peace. It helps again with the back, digestive systems, circulation, feet, hips, kidneys. 7 is also down at the feet, and it's the big toe. Oops, you can see his big toe. He has mittens on his feet and his fingers so that I can differentiate which finger and toe I'm holding. Okay, so it's the underside of the big toe, so the padding of the big toe. And this can really help with headaches. It's a real good point for headaches. 8 also has to do with balance, and it's on the outside of the knee. So the 1 was on the inside of the knee, and now we have the 8 is on the outside. And we call that magic. It rules the unexplained and brings illumination. It helps release tension in the head and the abdomen, digestion, legs, muscles. This is a good point for people if you've been walking and your legs are kind of getting a little bit crampy. This is a good point for that. 9 is on the back. 9's about here. We'll put 3 up a little bit more. So 9 is under the scapula. And like I said, Jin Shin Jyutsu is very accommodating and understanding and knows that a lot of people are not going to be able to hold their own back. And so what you would hold instead is the inside of your arm. And that would be the helper for the 9. And the 9 is completion, ending and beginning new cycles. It helps with tension in the back, digestion, feet. So it's a very powerful, powerful spot. Okay. And 10 is kind of right in the middle of the scapula. There. So you've got these three, you have 3, 10, and 9. And 10 is the outpouring of compassion. Again, it helps with the head and back, neck and shoulders. And again, it's a hard point to reach. And so what you would do is, so the 9 is right here where we bend our elbow. And the 10 is about 2 inches above that. All right, 11. 11 is right on the shoulders, right here. We call that the janitor, because a lot of people carry baggage here. And it's kind of our garbage filter, helps unburden us from excess baggage. It releases tension in the neck. And then it helps with the nervous system. Also, anything that has up here in the neck, there's a lot of lymph nodes, which if you're dealing with the project of cancer or any kind of a big project like that, just holding this area helps to release and open up the lymph nodes and help keep things flowing. So, you know, any way you want to hold it, it helps. Okay, 12 is right at the side of the neck. And it is called perfect harmony. And it helps again with the arms and the legs and the shoulders. And it's called not my will, but thy will. It's kind of turning over issues to a higher source. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, when the practitioner is working on a person, or when I am working on myself, I am like the jumper cables for the higher power. And it's not coming from me, but it's coming through me. And so whatever your belief system is around whatever that force energy might be, that's what we're tapping into through this system. And so that's why they call this not my will, but thy will. Okay. 13 is the heart center. For anybody who has done things with chakras, it's right here. Let's see. So on me, it would be about right there. And it this is one of the few ones that isn't along the side of the body. It's more on the middle part. And being the heart center, it helps with creativity and fertility. It helps release tension. It helps with the hormones. If you were to tell somebody who was dealing with cancer to do one thing, just putting their hands on their heart, on their chest like this. Oftentimes I find my hands just going here when I go to sleep. And, you know, it has to do with love and support. And it's just a very nourishing hold for ourselves. 14s are right at the end. So if you followed your rib down at the point of the rib, that would be the 14. And they say that's where heaven and earth comes together. It's where the, as above, so below. I mean, it's the midpoint of our body. And it helps bring perfect balance and releases tension in the brain and the arms, legs, and hips and heart. So again, this would be another good one for stress, for just holding that. And you can if you just cross your arms and just, you can do that when you're talking to people, sitting in the passenger seat of a car, watching TV. One of the things I like about Jin Shin Jyutsu is you don't have to do like real squirrely things. You're not going around like this. You can do things that you can sit in public, and I do it all the time. And I'm constantly doing Jin Shin on myself. And unless the person knows Jin Shin Jyutsu, they don't know what I'm doing. And so you can just hold those 14s and help bring balance and reduce stress. The 15s are really good for the immune system. And it's right in the crease of the leg. It's right there. And it is, it's also called the laughter and joy button. So it brings joy, fills the heart with happiness. It helps release tension in the back. It helps with the blood system and hips. And it's excellent for the immune system. So again, you can just have your hands there, and you don't have to be like cradling, your pelvic bone. You can just have your hands in your lap, and that's helping that 15. And like I said again before, you have that 3-inch bullseye, so you can also use that. Okay, well, 16. So we had the 5 is on the inside by the big toe, and the 16 is on the outside of the ankle by the little toe. And it helps with the foundation of all physical activity. And it releases the muscle and the skeleton system, and helps with the feet and the knees. "17 is on the outside of the little finger. And 17 is really good for the nervous system. So if you were going to an appointment or giving a Jin Shin Jyutsu talk, you could hold your 14s, and it would help to calm you. And a lot of times you see people in pictures, and they're standing with their hands kind of in front of themselves, and they're holding their 17s. And again, they're not necessarily doing it with the knowledge of Jin Shin Jyutsu, but they're actually helping to calm themselves down by doing that. Okay. 18 is the opposite side. It's the thumb side. 18. So it's on the palm side of the thumb, kind of in that little pad area there. Okay. And the 18 is an expression of our personality, and it helps release tension in the underarms and the upper back. and the chest area. And so if you're just holding your wrist like this, you're holding both the 17 and the 18. So you're helping with the tension, and you're also helping with the personality. You're helping with the underarms. So this is just one little hold, but you're helping, this whole thing, you're helping your back, and you're helping your nervous system. 19, we talked about because it's a substitute for the 9 and the 10. So the 19 is right in the elbow. And the 19 is where we strive towards our highest aspiration. Like I said before, it has to do with responsibility. It's how we reach out to interact with the world. It helps with our digestive system. The 20s are at above the eyebrow. Helps with intuition. Helps with if you're trying to remember things. It helps with circulation of mental activities. It brings the unconscious to the conscious. And again, it helps with eyes and ears, face, neck tension. Twenty-one is the chief, what I was telling you about before. It helps with the digestion of thoughts and food. It helps with our ability to perceive, even with extrasensory perception and intuition. And as you would imagine, it helps with the face and the neck, connected with the stomach. 22s. 22s are here. And we call this the railroad station because all of the meridians, all of the energy patterns in the body go through here. And so for most people, it's going to be sore. And again, you can just hold them to help release them. It's a place of completion when we're facing new directions. It releases tension in the chest, digestive organs, head. It also helps with physical, mental, and emotional stress. So, and again, if I were to just sit like this with my hand here, in an office or something, nobody would think that I was doing anything strange. I'm just resting my hand here. 23. 23 is an important part for us. So the 2 was here, and the 3 is kind of at the top of the hip bone. Below the rib cage, yeah. And it brings us the ability to go with the flow in life. And it releases tension in the abdomen. This one helps with adrenals and the blood system, with ears and genital organs. 24 is, so if you go to the little toe and you come up a little bit, it's right here. And again, it's not the easiest one to hold with your hand. but you can put your other foot on it. So you can put one foot on the other foot, and then you're touching that point. And it's called the chaos point. It helps bring order out of chaos. It helps us with harmony, acceptance, peace. It supports the lymph system. And then, of course, the ankles, the legs, the feet. Yeah. So again, if you're sitting, talking to someone, or if you're having, a chaotic moment, and you can just cross your ankles and put one foot on top of the other and hold the chaos point and help bring calmness. 25 is on the sits bone. So right where you're behind, go from your behind into your leg. And there is a sense of humor in Jin Shin Jyutsu. So one of the things 25 can help you do is lose weight. So if you're holding both 25s, it helps you lose weight. I say it helps you lose weight because you're sitting on your hands and you can't eat. But they have actually done research. A woman did a whole measuring thing with her whole ballet troupe, and people had different measurements when they were done holding this. This is a good one for filtering toxins. And that's maybe you've gathered up through physical activity or through medication treatments that you're doing. It's good for the digestive system, and again, helps with the legs and the back. At 26 is right under here. It's kind of the back side of the arm, close to the armpit on the outer edge of the shoulder blade. And it is called completion. And it releases everything. So if you cross your arms, and you can just kind of hold there. Yeah. And that releases that point. And so with Jin Shin Jyutsu, generally we're holding two of these points, and you can see how powerful each point is by itself. And so then when you have that combination, you have the energy of what's coming through that specific number. And you also have its connection to the other point. And so it kind of magnifies how it's helping. I've ended up talking way more than I thought I would. Does anybody have any questions so far about what we've talked about? And I'm sorry for the people who didn't have the map of the body. I think it would be easier to go along with the map.
I had a quick question.
Yes.
My naturopathic oncologist had suggested that after my radiation, I immediately hold my calves for 10 minutes. And I thought that would be Jin Shin Jyutsu, but I'm not seeing that on the map. So,
well, but you have the 8s on the outside of the leg.
okay.
Yeah. And you have the ones on the inside, and you have that bullseye. So actually you're hitting both of those points. And there is a hold in Jin Shin Jyutsu where you palm somebody's calves, and that helps release toxins. A friend of mine, her daughter was around some boiling water, and it got spilled on her, and they immediately palmed her calves, and no blisters. came up. But they did it for the whole family worked on her. They just did one after the other. So they did it for a couple of hours, but it was able to calm all of that down.
So would you agree with his suggestion to hold that for 10 minutes right after the session?
Is that comfortable for you?
I mean, not as comfortable as the folding the arms ones and those, but I'll do it. I mean, I'll do whatever helps. It's not uncomfortable.
Yeah. You could try it in also maybe sitting in a chair where your legs are up or with a stool or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say if it's not comfortable and your body feels cramped and hurt, just a different part of you hurts from doing that, then that doesn't seem like that would be this, it might be maybe something up here would work better.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because this is the janitor, and these, this is where everything is going through these, the 22 points.
Yeah, that's much more comfortable. And I feel something from it actually in the moment, which is nice.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
So in the week for our next class, you can try just holding different points and seeing, hold them for maybe a minute and see if you notice a difference. Yeah. So we have just a couple of more minutes. Here we go. And I have some stories that, so one person said that they survived their intensive chemo sessions and were able to get sleep with the help of Jin Shin Jyutsu. And this is actually a woman that I treated when she was in the hospital. And I know it seems really simple saying, touch here very gently, but I've seen the monitors in the hospital change when people are having Jin Shin Jyutsu treatments. And so it is deceptively powerful. It's very easy and very simple. And like I've said, and I will say a number of times, we're already doing it, The thumb has to do with the stomach. And I'll go over this more next time. And babies suck their thumbs. They just know that. And so that's helping them to digest. There's so many things that we do, the fact that this is a prayer position and that this helps our body in absolutely every way imaginable, that each finger has 1,400 energy points on it. And so you have that and you put it together, you've got, all of these energy points that are coming through here. And you're just doing this simple thing. And if you don't like the prayer position, you just close your hands because that will do the same thing. And you can put this, between your knees when you're sitting, and you'll notice a lot of people are sitting that way. And so people are, giving themselves Jin Shin Jyutsu treatments just by having their hands together. So any other comments or anything? I know we've only got 1 minute left. Thank you all for coming today. And Jenna, did you have anything you wanted to say to close out?
Yeah, thank you all for joining us. That was great, Colleen. I know that I really enjoyed it. And it looks like next session is next Thursday, same time.
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully we will all see you then. And we'll probably
Right.
follow up with you guys via email. And if you didn't get that PDF, email me or Lauren or Mary, and we'll make sure that you got it before next session.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yes. Bye,
Appreciate
Colleen.
it.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.